Tzipi Livni, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You yourself have called this new government very right-wing.
Yes.
Tell us what that means. What does it mean to a global audience to have a very right-wing Israeli government?
I believe that just saying no or just looking at the threats in the region without seeing the opportunities that there are, it's not enough. There is a new camp of moderates in the region. How can we work with the Arab states not only in order to confront Iran, but to change realities for the future, to work together? How can we work with, when we are looking at the Palestinian side? There are those from the right wing saying, oh, we have Hamas in Gaza Strip, which is true. They are acting in terms of terror against Israel, which is true. We need to undermine Hamas, we need to act against terror, and I believe in all of this. But simultaneously, my strategy is a dual one. I say, okay, let's undermine Hamas, let's act against terror as we should, but we need also to work with the moderates in order to create not only a vision of peace, but to translate it into concrete agreement. And I believe that these are the differences between us and what is called the right wing in Israel.
You know, there are some people, though, who say that it is Bibi Netanyahu who will be able to make peace with the Palestinians, just the way that Richard Nixon went to China. And in fact, this is not just being said by Likudniks, it is being said by people in the region. I had a conversation with the Syrian ambassador to the U.S. I want you to listen to what he said, okay? It strikes me as hopeful that you believe that a peace of sorts could be instituted between Israel and Syria, despite the recent Israeli election, despite the fact that the foreign minister of Israel is Avigdor Lieberman. You believe that you can do business with any Israeli government?
Personally, I believe that it's better to deal with someone like Lieberman than to deal with someone like Livni. At least Lieberman is candid. He exactly says what he believes in. Tzipi Livni and her colleagues were, as I said, talking all the time about their desire to make peace while committing the atrocity in Gaza or doing other things similar in the rest of the Palestinian territories.
What do you think?
Okay, it looks like he's looking for excuses to say that there is no partner on the Israeli side. That's fine, but talking seriously, listen, asking whether, or let's hope so. I mean, as I said before, I'm an Israeli. I entered into Israel politics, even though I hate politics, because I was driven by the understanding that the division of the land is an Israeli interest, that we need to address this issue and we need to end this conflict because this is the explosive in which we are sitting on. And this is the reason for me to be in politics. If somebody else, if the current government is doing so, it will be blessed. And I said to Netanyahu also that even as the leader of the opposition, if he's going to do the right things, I'm going to support him. Kadima is going to support the government from the opposition if this government is going to do the right things. But as I said before, in the negotiations before the formation of the government, I came to a conclusion that this is not going to happen, but let's see.
You talk about the prospects for peace, and you say that, you know, it is possible you'll be able to get peace, but there's also a possibility that things will just continue to muddle along. And I wonder whether you think time is on Israel's side. That is to say, can you just muddle along for another 5 years, 10 years, at which point you will have an Arab majority between the River Jordan and the sea? And is it possible for Israel to be a democratic state effectively ruling over a majority population that does not have any political rights?
This is the most important question because we in Israel, even though we celebrated the 61st anniversary of Israel, Israel is still fighting for its existence. Its physical existence, we have terror, we have to fight it, and this is one issue that we need to address. The other is the raison d'etre of the State of Israel, the reasons for its existence, the values of Israel as a democracy and as homeland for the Jewish people. As an Israeli, I believe that the Israeli interest is to combine or to have these two values of Israel as a democracy and Jewish state living together and not in contradiction. The idea of two states for two people serves this interest, and time is of the essence. Waiting leads to nothing.
Why not stop the settlement activity as the United States government asks? Why have more and more checkpoints in Gaza where it becomes more and more difficult to undo these things to create a two-state solution?
On Gaza, just to set the record straight, Israel left Gaza Strip. We decided to dismantle all the settlements. We took our forces out in order to create a vision of peace, even though it was not according to the roadmap. We could have waited forever until they fought terror, and we decided to do something unilaterally, not against the Palestinians, but to create a vision of peace, and we got terror in return.
But it is effectively strangled by a system of Israeli checkpoints, guards. It is impossible to really exist in a viable way.
No checkpoints. Israeli forces are not in Gaza Strip.
No. They are at all access points.
We withdraw to 67 line in Gaza. Now, there are two possibilities for us. We don't want to control them. We don't want to be there. We don't want to be responsible for them. The idea was to end what the world called occupation in Gaza Strip in withdrawing form. But since they acted they use terror, they use anything, and Iran transfer weapons to Gaza Strip that they use against our citizens. What are the options we had? It's not that Israel is closing Gaza Strip and they use terror in order to open it. Since they use terror, we need to check what enters into Gaza in terms of weapons.
And the settlements?
And the settlements. Since I mentioned Gaza Strip, so Israel shown that when it comes to decision-making, we dismantle settlements in Gaza Strip completely. So this is one understanding that the Palestinians...
You're going to dismantle the settlements in the West Bank completely?
When we define the borders between Israel and the Palestinians, the Israeli interest is to keep most of the Israelis who live in what we call blocks of settlements, which takes only a few percentage of the West Bank as part of Israel, but it is clear that when we define the borders, the other side of the border, which is going to be the Palestinian state, is not going to be with Israeli settlements there. So this is part of the final status agreement. This is one thing. And the other is when it comes to illegal outposts, the way I see it is that this is something between Israel and its citizens. And since I believe in law and order also in Israel, I believe that this is our responsibility as a government to take it off for the sake of Israel democracy and not even as a favor to the Palestinians or to the United States of America.
Tzipi Livni, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.